Hello and welcome back to Tales Untold. I'm Erica.
And I'm Wyatt.
Today we are going into the history and the hauntings of one of the most haunted places in the United States.
Thought to be. I don't know if I believe it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was supposed to be this haunted ship. But after reading, people did die, but
I did the same thing looking it up.
I didn't see much haunting.
No.
Yeah,
So this will be about the Queen Mary.
RMS Queen Mary.
Ah. which brings us back to our prior episode. We did kind of talk about the Queen Mary at the end.
We did, yeah.
Interestingly enough, I found it interesting anyway, that it was built in Scotland for the White Star Line. The same people that
had the Titanic and the Olympic
and the Britannic.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
They're all the owners.
Yeah. So the Queen Mary was actually a British ocean liner. Mm-hmm. It's retired now, obviously.
Yes.
It operated from 1936 to 1967.
I feel like that's not a long time.
It's about.
I mean, it's about as long. It's about as long as I've been alive. But yes, I want to work for only 30 years and then call it a day.
And it was turned into a tourist attraction in California.
Yes,
a hotel and a museum.
Yes, I wish we could go there.
California is just so far from.
I mean, I feel like it's a 6 or 7 hour flight.
I don't do well with planes.
Well, it's worth it because that drive would be days.
I think it would be a day or two. No?
It's a day to get to Florida if you drive straight through.
Straight through. So a while.
Yes.
Days.
Days. And that's with minimal breaks. So, no, I'd rather take a plane ride, thank you. So, its maiden voyage was in May of 1936.
May 27th, to be exact.
It's about 31 years after the Titanic and the Olympic were scrapped. That's not right.
The Titanic?
That's not right.
Yeah, no, that's... Because the Titanic sank in 1912, so that would be about 24 years.
Yeah, and the Olympic was scrapped in 37, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know where I got that. That was incorrect.
You mentioned that she was built in Scotland. It was built by something called John Brown and Company.
Yeah.
So is that a person or a company?
Yes. A company that somebody named after themselves. So the and company would be whatever his investors were or whoever else was a part of it.
What I think is crazy is on her maiden voyage, there was 16,600 people on board, which is the most people on a vessel at one time.
I did read that too. So the cruise ships today, do those not have that many people on them? Including workers and stuff? I don't know. Well, did it say ocean liner specifically or just any vessel? I thought it said vessel, right?
Yeah, unless it's just not updated.
I don't know. Or maybe it was referring to a specific time period. Maybe of its time.
Maybe. But why did it say, ever? It was...
Yeah, it said it very cut and dry.
Yeah, there has been no ship since that had that amount on it, so I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Only 3,000 people on a cruise ship?
Oh, but it's considering passengers. I don't think it's considering staff. The 3,000, it's considering guests. So that's still, what, a quarter? Because it said 16,000, right?
It's half. Because look, the largest cruise ships can hold up to 7,600 passengers at maximum capacity. That's crazy.
But that's passengers, though. So it's think of a hotel.
So maybe about 10,000 total?
Yeah,
'Cause
so
there's about
maybe it really
3,000
is.
staff.
Maybe it really is ever.
That's insane, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know how big the cruise ships are? I'm sure they're way bigger than Queen Mary.
Right.
Like, some of them.
I mean, honestly, I would not want a ridiculous amount of people on a cruise ship.
No, 3,000 is...
Like even 3,000 is a lot of people. But
It might be like that so everybody can have their own space, though.
right. And you want to have enough lifeboats, as history has told us, that you want to make sure that everybody can get out. But yeah, like you only have limited amenities too. You know what I mean? You're going to have to feed that amount of people for a week. You're going to have to entertain all of those people for however long that cruise is.
So that's actually probably what takes up most of the space. The rooms, the food.
Right. The amenities.
That's 10,000 hotel rooms, basically.
Yeah, at the very least. So these people, they also have multiple swimming pools, hot tubs. They have places where they have tennis courts. They have basketball courts. They have like daycare centers, depending on the type of places you go to. They have spas. It's like a mall on the
water.
Yeah, a mall and a hotel all on the water.
I don't understand why cruise ships are like that.
What do you mean?
Like, have all of these things on
to make
them.
people go on them.
Like, I don't know. I feel like...
So even the Queen Mary had its amenities. I did.
Really?
Yes, I wrote them down. They had 2 indoor swimming pools, which I thought was really neat for the 1930s. Like that really stood out to me. There was a music studio. There were libraries, plural.
Library.
Yeah, plural. Paddle tennis courts and a telephone service.
Tennis courts make sense.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because it's something to do.
I think it's mostly the, like, shops.
Oh, I think that's a nowadays thing. But yeah, and I think you have to go on like the really
nice.
Right. And then there was also a telephone service that could connect you to anywhere in the world, which I thought was really cool.
I thought they couldn't do that.
Right. Also for the 1930s. I don't think we give enough credit to our past. Because when you look up...
that's like nowadays.
Right. Like imagine they probably had they obviously had electricity on it. So they had to have had something that provided that electricity.
Some sort of generator?
So I think we kind of disconnect sometimes because of how far our technology has come in such a short time.
Yeah.
That we disconnect that they also had technologies.
Which I think is...
Which, sure, they were nothing like what we have now. But they still provided the job. They had lights instead of gas lights. That would be terrible on a boat. Imagine that. Kaboom. So I definitely found those facts a little interesting.
I actually didn't know that. I didn't look too far into the building and history of the ship. More of just like newspaper headline and things. Like
I think that's kind of where we end up with the pod with what we do. Is we look up something and then we just kind of end up looking it up differently and then we can come together. But I definitely thought it was interesting that these amenities were kind of similar to what we have now.
The phone one is super. I don't know how that it was even possible.
Satellites. Yeah. I mean, it probably wasn't a fast process. It probably wasn't a pretty process. You know, like we just pick up our phone and we go, doop, doop, there it is. And the internet of the world's at our fingertips. I'm sure it was definitely different than that. But they probably felt kind of like we do now.
Yeah.
Where they felt more connected to the rest of the world, you know, like somebody, oh, hey, I'm out on the Pacific Ocean and I'm talking to you right now. Like, this is really neat, you know?
That's crazy.
I wonder what a ticket costs to get on one of these.
Probably $5. I forget how much the Titanic one was. Wow.
Oh my goodness. So,
that's actually way more than I thought.
Especially if you account for inflation. So the tickets in the 1930s for the Queen Mary ranged from $93 to $663
per
one
person.
way.
Yeah. Not even coming back. That's insane. That is way more than I thought.
That is a lot. I mean...
So then, how much were the Titanic tickets?
I don't know.
I feel like those gotta be cheaper. $12? I don't know.
I doubt it because it's maiden voyage, right?
$35 at the time.
Well, that was for third class.
$60 at a time for second class. $150 for first class. And then a first class suite was...
Well, that's pounds.
Well, I was reading the American dollars. For what?
In today's money, a first-class ticket would have cost you $4,591 for birth. And the third-class ticket would cost you $1,071. The first-class parlor suite would cost you $49,000, $608. Oh, my God.
That's a lot of money.
You couldn't even say that right.
And just to ride...
Just to go to the United States.
They didn't even make it.
Well, I mean, that wasn't the plan. Well, that wasn't the passengers' plans anyway. That's insane.
That is a lot of money nowadays.
Yes.
Back then, the ticket prices are still a little more expensive than I would think, but...
I mean, well, back then, that just accounts for inflation. So really all that's doing is translating through time.
Yeah.
So that money was still as much as it is to us right now, just the actual quantity is different.
Yes.
So that's insanity. That's a car. 50 grand.
It's like a brand new car.
Right. That's a brand new car.
It's 5,000 once you drive it off the lot.
Right? Wow. So that's even more. And that was 21 years from, because it sailed in 1912 and the Queen Mary was 1931. 36 numbers. So the Queen Mary was 26 years newer than the Titanic, and it was cheaper.
Yeah, it would be newer, I guess.
Yeah, in a weird way.
But the Queen Mary wasn't cheaper.
Yeah.
It was 93 to...
I don't know if that was real money, though.
No, that's...
Yeah, it's still nowhere close. Oh, that's Queen Mary 2.
What?
That's not what I want. So it's not telling me how much it would cost in today's money. It's only telling me how much the Queen Mary cost to build in today's money.
Why would it tell you that and not the ticket price?
Maybe they don't have the data, because it wasn't long until it was commissioned for World War II. Right?
Was it commissioned?
Yeah. It was part of World War II.
I thought it was... Oh, no.
It has to be World War II.
Yeah, I was thinking about a different ship that was commissioned.
The Olympic was World War I.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Olympic.
Whatever.
Yes, it did not act for long as a passenger ship due to World War II, and it was converted into a troop ship. During its service, it had 2 million passengers.
Wow.
810,000 or so military personnel until it was retired in the 1960s.
It had its last voyage, I think you would call it, on October 31st, 1967. And
then it was purchased by the city of Long Beach.
Yeah. Queen Mary left Southampton and sailed to Long Beach, California, and now she is permanently moored.
I would really like one day to come back to this and actually spend some time on that Queen Mary ship. You know, get a couple nights of room.
Oh, a hotel. Yeah,
that would be
cool.
That would be awesome.
The propeller room, though.
Well, let's first talk about the people who have died that we know have died.
Yeah,
on there, and we'll come back. We'll come back to that famous propeller room. So, the records of deaths on the Queen Mary during World War II are still confidential.
Why?
I'm guessing, well, because Churchill actually was on that boat.
Who?
Winston Churchill.
Who? While you look that up, the attraction of Queen Mary, the hotel and the museum opened to the public in 1971. So 4 years after.
Yeah, that's not that long.
No.
I mean, it was kind of already there, it's basically a cruise ship. So, I mean, it already had the rooms. It already had I wonder if at this point, I think they have their own baths and stuff like that. Like they have ensuite bathrooms and stuff.
I'm pretty sure they did because I'm pretty sure the Titanic did have their own bathrooms.
I think only some of them did.
Only some?
Yeah, like your first class presidential, the $50,000 room.
Well, $50,000 in today's day.
Right. So he was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945. And again in 51 to 55.
Never heard of it.
So he was the guy. Really? What are you doing in history?
Well, you can talk to my history teacher. He's a little...
Yeah, well, they're really mandated.
I don't think I don't think I've had a good history teacher.
That's unfortunate. So he was the Prime Minister. So, and he rode on the Queen Mary on 3 separate occasions. So I'm guessing that is why it's still confidential. They haven't released those paperworks. So whatever was happening during World War II is still considered confidential, which is kind of a conspiracy in and of itself.
I thought that was his death date, and I was like, how is he Prime Minister if he died
if he died the year he was in office? Born the year he was in office. Let's see.
When did he die?
He was born November 30th, 1874, and he died January 24th, 1965. Oh, wow.
He was 90.
He was old. Damn. I didn't even see the age 90. I just did the math.
Oh.
Dark. I was just like, wait a minute. Those are 2 different centuries, and they're really far apart. Wow.
Well, something that I thought was interesting that I feel like isn't really talked about. Like, I feel like the Queen Mary is pretty famous, but I
didn't even know about it until you mentioned it the last episode.
This is the first time like I read this or heard this. In 1942, the Queen Mary actually collided with the British anti-aircraft cruiser HMS Curacao, and that killed 236 British seamen.
That's crazy. So
that is a lot of people to just...
For a crash, yeah. So that's weird.
And it doesn't even... It's used the word collided. And the Queen Mary...
It didn't sink. Yeah, did the other one sink? Did that ship sink the other one?
Maybe. I didn't research the HMS Curacao.
Interesting. Because I wonder maybe that must be what caused the 236 deaths. People drowning and whatnot from the collision.
Yeah, I can look it up real quick.
I do believe the Queen Mary it had a nickname. It was like the Gray Ghost. Yep, it was nicknamed the Gray Ghost due to its speed and stealth during World War II. And they, once it was commissioned for the war, they painted it gray, which is where the gray part came from.
I see.
So I wonder if that might be why. Maybe the Queen Mary didn't collide with the Curacao.
I don't know how to say it.
Curacao? That sounds like cacao. But maybe they crashed into the Queen Mary.
Maybe.
Because they didn't see it. Because they call it the Gray Ghost for a reason.
Yeah, they probably don't see it coming.
Yeah.
Which is probably the point for the military.
Right. But, I mean, your own military should be able to know where it is.
But, the HMS Curacao, after, the HMS Curacao actually struck a naval mine and had to return home for repairs at some point. And I'm pretty sure that's the last.
So that's separate from this collision? Weird.
Oh, wait, no, that was... I only read one of the incidents for that ship. Here we go. In late 1942, during escort duty, she was accidentally sliced in half and sunk by the ocean liner RMS Queen Mary, with the loss of 337 men.
Whoa.
That is...
Sliced in half?
That's insane.
A boat sliced another boat in half. Sorry, a ship sliced another ship in half. That's insane.
Why is there no pictures?
Well, I mean, they didn't have cameras in their pockets.
That's the stern.
Wow. That's insane.
So I guess it killed about 100 more men than it originally said.
So that kind of brings me to where I was wondering why it was even considered haunted. Because this has 2 actual recorded deaths, which we'll get to in a second. I think you have a couple others. But
yeah,
I couldn't figure out why it would be considered so haunted, as like one of the most haunted places, because if it's only these 3-4 isolated incidences
that are, but then there's also the sealed record,
right,
or the
confidential records of the military. So what happened on that ship? They must have at least attempted to save so many people. They must have had a medic bay that lost a lot of people.
Yeah. But the Wikipedia page for the Queen Mary says that 236 British seamen were killed, but then on the HMS Karuko it says 337. So maybe the 101.
101.
Yeah, maybe the 101 was from the Queen Mary.
Maybe, but they would have also been British seamen.
Would they?
Why not?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it was World War II, actually, so we could have been commingling military personnel.
I'm not sure. I wish there was a little more information.
Yeah, it is really strange that
there's 2 different numbers on 2 different pages on 2 different.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, there's conflicting reports here. It's very, very odd to me.
It's very conflicting.
There are a few deaths.
Yeah,
that we know for sure that have happened. Well,
I actually found a couple of rumors.
Oh, right. I have 2 that they know for sure. Okay. Why don't we start with your rumors?
Some say Jacqueline Horan drowned in one of the ship's swimming pools.
There's no other reasoning? Like she just
drowned.
Was swimming alone and drowned?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This room, swimming pool, people drown all the time.
Unfortunately.
I understand, yeah.
That's why we have signs saying, hey, don't swim alone.
Yeah.
No one should swim alone, even if you're an adult.
I would hate to drown to death. Or drown, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a very powerless feeling, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Especially if you're, knocked unconscious for some reason.
Oh.
Or, you have a seizure or...
medical thing.
Yeah, or, a muscle cramp and you just sink. And all you can see is the ceiling. And you're just well, here we go.
So I do believe that happened, although I don't know why it's a rumor. But another rumor, this one I feel like is a little crazy, says that the galley crew locked the chef in his own oven and roasted him alive.
That is a big oven. I mean, if you're feeding a lot of people, I guess it has to be.
Yeah.
But
I don't
that's a big oven.
That one. Yeah.
Oh, actually, that'd be a terrible death also.
That'd be another power.
Pretty slow.
Yeah.
Pretty slow.
You would just feel the heat and the burn, and then at one point you wouldn't feel pain. You would just...
I feel like I'd rather drown.
Oh.
Because you drown, you pass out, and you're just gone. If you're burning alive, you're going to feel all those burns first before you pass out from pain and lose consciousness.
That's a tough one. Because, I hate the feeling of not being able to breathe, but then being burned or cooked.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's really tough. I can't say I would rather one over the other.
I mean, they both suck, but a lesser evil here, I think, would be drowning. Because, those kind of burns hurt. Those ovens are hot.
How fast does an average person drown?
I think you go unconscious after 8 seconds.
Okay.
It's not, I don't think it's long.
8 seconds.
So, if you choke somebody out, it takes 8 seconds. for them to go unconscious. So once the water's in your lung for 8 seconds, it doesn't take long.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I don't think I could pick.
And it doesn't take a lot of water in your lungs either.
Mm.
I don't know. They both suck.
They do.
They both have a terrible outcome. You're also more likely to have the potential of being saved from drowning than being burned. Somebody sees you at the bottom, they can pull you out and try to perform CPR and bring you back. You're That's burning. True. You're
burning.
Yeah.
So before you read your reported deaths, it says that ship logs recorded 55 deaths. It says that the ship logs recorded 55 deaths, but the number could be higher because all deaths were not documented.
I find it interesting that they didn't document the deaths. Probably to make their line appear better than it is. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's died. It's fine. You'll be safe on the boat for a week. Like that sort of thing. Like a preserving your image type deal.
Yeah.
Which is probably why that woman drowning in the pool is just a rumor. Because it could have potentially happened.
It could have. I feel like it's very possible. Right.
But the 2 actual deaths that I have are very weird to me.
What are they?
So I'm going to start with the second one I found, the John Petter. He was a mechanic, and he was working on one of the many bay doors, I guess, down in the hull in the engine room. And there was an alarm that sounded off saying that they were going to test these doors, right? And they didn't find him until hours later, crushed between doors.
Wow.
Or crushed by the door. Number 1, why were they testing this? And not like, right, well, they should know that this guy is working on a door. Like, who's running this if they don't know that there's somebody in there working on it? Hello? I don't understand. And number 2, he heard the alarm go off. Why couldn't he get out of the way? I looked back. It specified that there was an alarm that went off. So
did this guy just want to die?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what prevented him from getting out of the way? Did his shirt get stuck on something and he couldn't get away? Did something out of his power happen? Like, did somebody knock him out so he had no idea what was happening? Like,
that's true.
Was it intentional? But this was I think he was like 19 years old.
Really?
18. He was very young. And he had a family at home. Like, he was not, I don't know. It was very odd to me that he couldn't get out of the way in time.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a reason that he shouldn't have moved. Like, if you're a mechanic,
you should be knowing the safety and the things that could potentially happen.
Right. And I know we have a lot of safety things now because of those kind of things have happened, like there's a lot of protocols now because bad things have happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I couldn't believe it that they found him hours later deceased. What? You're telling me nobody knew he was down there and nobody looked around like, hey, where's John? Wait a minute. Like, hello? I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of...
It was definitely very suspicious. And then this other one is equally alarming. William Eric Stark. He accidentally poisoned himself and others with tetrachloride.
What?
So, right? So he was asked to retrieve a bottle of gin from an alcohol cabinet, I'm assuming.
So
a cabinet of some kind.
Alcohol poisoning or chemical?
Chemical poisoning. So he reached into the cabinet, apparently not paying attention to what he was doing, and accidentally grabbed a bottle of tetrachloride.
How do you accidentally...
They must have been in the same bottle or a similar bottle and not labeled.
And this guy maybe already had drinks.
Yeah, probably. He seems like the kind that would have from the rest of the story. So he gets this, and then so he's consumed however much of this what he thought was jinn, right? And so have others. Other people were affected by this also.
Right.
So by the time they realized their mistake, which honestly, number one, how did you not realize it was not gin on that first sip?
Yeah,
explain that to me.
So
explain that.
I don't even know. That would have been.
But that aside, once they have realized their mistake, everyone else went to the med bay and got their stomachs pumped. They were fine. But this guy, William Eric Stark, decided, no, I'm good. And he refused medical service and even continued to drink gin after it happened.
Or
they're saying that it was gin that he continued to drink. So he must have, gone back and gotten the correct bottle.
So I feel like two things could have happened. He was trying to kill himself and some other people with him. Or the most likely is he was so drunk. I feel like when people get drunk, they don't know where they are, what they're doing at all. So say you were drunk and this doctor is like, we need to pump your stomach. That is not going to relay the same.
No, it's not. No.
Yeah.
No, there's a reason you're not supposed to drink and drive. Because you're not capable of making proper decisions. So I find it interesting that nobody conked this idiot off the head and took him to the med bay to get him treated.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't force that.
No, you don't want medical attention? Oh, you just wanna live it out, see what happens? Cool, that's fine. We'll watch you die.
Yeah.
What?
That's not...
Why was that the conversation? That confuses me. So it took this guy days to die.
Days?
Yes.
And he didn't get his stomach pumped? I mean,
Yes.
it probably would have been late after day 2, but...
Right. So I think it was maybe like a 3-day...
This guy must have went through it.
Yeah. A 3-day trip back to the homeland, right? And he was dead on arrival. Because he refused treatment.
Why?
And he continued to drink. I don't know.
So that's probably why
he refused.
He continued to drink.
So I wonder if whatever was back home, he didn't want to go to.
And he was trying to kill himself as quickly as possible.
I'm sure there's quicker ways.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps in that prop room that we were talking about.
The propeller room?
Yeah.
Prop.
So, yeah. It's short for propeller.
Oh, I've never heard that.
No?
No.
Yeah.
Prop to me is... I guess it's because of
a prop.
A nerd,
yeah. Yeah, no, it's short for propeller. I can't believe that he refused the treatment, which could have saved him, just like it did all the others.
Yeah.
So he was the only one.
I feel like he did it on purpose.
That's a real crap way to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
He really must have been punishing himself for something.
I would say just jump off the ship, but that's even worse.
At least it's faster.
Well, would it be, though? Because what if he's just there floating in the water?
Something will eat him. Or he'll drown. I don't know. Get hit by a boat. I don't know.
I feel like the quickest way would be the propeller room.
Yes. While you're traveling, just jump in there.
I've heard of people dying by actually falling off of the ship.
That's strange.
Yeah.
I wonder what those railings looked like. That someone just oops, I've
big.
tripped, and
they're railings that are outside of school. They're
just hand railings?
Yeah.
Oof.
Back then, anyway.
Yeah. No, not anymore. I got a whole wall now. It goes up to your shoulders.
Now we get to the haunted part, I guess. Apparently there have been 150 ghosts spotted on the ship, or sighted.
I feel like that's not a lot. For
how many people?
And also for it having the name of the most haunted place, or one of the most haunted.
Activity, the energy that's around it. Because if you think about it, it went to war. Like the Conjuring house, wars were fought on that. The house isn't haunted; it's the land.
Right. It's that residual energy.
Yeah.
That we've talked about. That the
We did do an episode.
Yes, yes, like the ghosts that we were talking about.
I also feel like the Conjuring house makes it into every episode.
Yeah, it comes up a lot. So I don't know. I wasn't seeing something that made me believe that it could have a lot of haunted activity.
Yeah, I would have to, that's like one of those things that I would...
You'd have to go and see it.
Yeah, and feel. I know it sounds really weird, but like...
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it would be considered
one of the most, or the haunt. I think weren't they titling it as the most?
I think so. Or at least one of the most haunted places in the US. So I couldn't find anything about the actual propeller room. I didn't see anything about somebody being in there. I didn't even find anything about anybody dying in there, or somebody accidentally falling in there. Not even during construction.
I think I got that from like Sam and Colby videos.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Or like Phase Rug or something like that. I do believe that through its, I don't know, 31-year journey, someone, at least one or two people probably.
It could have happened during all the military.
That too, yeah.
Right. Or like, hey, where's Bob? I don't know. He went down to the propeller room and he didn't come back. Like something like that. Maybe. I don't know. I definitely wonder if a lot of the haunting part of it comes from its military service. Because, war is a very tragic thing.
It is.
Lots of bad things happen. Good people make terrible decisions. It's just a rough time.
Everything about war is bad.
Yes.
There's not one good thing.
But I feel like you have a personal vendetta against the propeller room.
I don't like it. The propeller room to me is by far the like creepiest thing to me, or scariest. I don't know. I feel like creepy is the right word.
Heebie-jeebies.
On the ship. It is thought by me, I guess, and wherever I heard it, that people fell off and were killed by the high spinning propeller. The propeller room just always freaks me out because now I'm not self-diagnosing. I don't even know if this is a self-diagnosable thing, but I think I have something called submechanophobia, and it's very strange because it's the fear of man-made objects that are partially or fully underwater, such as shipwrecks, statues, animatronics, buoys, or chains, or anything like that.
So does the Titanic also give you these heebie-jeebies when you see the photos of it and stuff?
No, and that's the weird thing. It's only like certain things. Like...
I mean, I would be a little concerned coming across a statue that's submerged in water.
I don't like that.
Like that would be weird.
Yeah, those pictures freak me out. And then like the animatronics at abandoned Disney parks or amusement rides that are underwater, like the Jaws one. Oh, yeah. And then I think somewhere I think it's Germany, there's this like creepy looking shark statue at the bottom of a lake. I think I showed you the picture.
The things about history we don't know.
Or like the house that's submerged underwater. Or like if Atlantis is real, that would freak me out.
Really?
An entire thing underwater. I don't know.
I don't know if Atlantis is a singular thing underwater like that. I think a lot of it is not alliteration. Fantastical.
I don't think it's real. Do you think it's real?
I think it was a society that existed at some point.
I don't think it's underwater.
Whether it's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, I'm not so sure. But I think Plato's onto something. Maybe we'll have to do an episode for Atlantis.
We should.
I have lots of thoughts about Atlantis.
There's also... This one doesn't freak me out as much, but it's like huge. It's like 17 feet tall and it's in a waterfall. It's a monkey or gorilla.
Is that supposed to be King Kong?
I think so. But like his arm, I think, moves and his eyes light up red and he roars. And like it's like super, super tall.
Yeah,
and
that
big.
is freaky.
It's freaky looking.
I don't know if that would give me... I mean, if I just stumbled across it, like walking through the woods or something, maybe. Yeah, that'd be a little frightening.
That would be.
But
especially if it looked abandoned and broken down.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be more concerned if it didn't.
Really?
Yeah, because then that means there would be people that were there that used it and took care of it. So if we're out in the middle of nowhere and it's in good shape, I would be more concerned.
The people that
yes, follow. Like, okay, so who's taking care of this thing?
I just don't really like monkeys in general. Like, especially like actual ones. I hate orangutans.
I mean, they're funky looking. But no, monkeys creep me out. I think it's because they're so human.
Yeah, and they have like a lot of human
traits. And it's creepy because they're not human. So it's like, it's too close to home. It's too close to home.
Yeah. And didn't we evolve?
In theory.
Yeah.
We evolved.
We don't even know what.
No.
For sure.
It'll be a long time, I'm sure, before we know these things. So speaking of monkeys, I was at the store and I picked up The Skeleton Crew, and it has the monkey in it. And I started reading it.
How is it?
And I'm not sure yet. It's definitely written differently. Mm-hmm. It's a little hard to follow sometimes.
So, like, what is it about? Like, is it like an actual monkey?
So it's this monkey toy, and it's got these
like one
of the symbols, and it
the symbol.
Yeah, I keep wanting to call them tambourines.
Isn't that like the old toy? What is it?
It didn't specify a name,
but I know.
It's some creepy
like the
toy in
Toy Story.
Yeah, and it's just like the creepy symbols, and it clangs them together.
And doesn't it like its teeth like?
Yeah, and like it's a very creepy toy. Like,
and mind you, this was a children's toy in the 70s or 80s,
60s, 70s. Yeah, but
something like that.
It's creepy. I like I said, I don't like monkeys to begin with. The teeny tiny ones are kind of cute. Like they can kind of get away with it because they're soft and furry. But like
giant animatronic.
But like the more human looking they get, and the bigger they get.
And don't they? I'm pretty sure they have like red eyes.
Like, did it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the story so far has a lot of descriptions, and sometimes you can't tell if it's what the character is actually experiencing or if it's how he feels the monkey is reacting.
Oh, that's strange.
So is it in this guy's head, or is the monkey actually doing this? So it's kind of supposedly supposed to be a demonic possessed monkey.
You haven't finished this, right?
I haven't finished it. No.
Okay.
No, but this is kind of what I've gathered in the first like half.
It's a short story?
Yeah.
Okay.
The font is really tiny. So like, yeah, it's like 47 pages or something. But this font is tiny. It's like a size 8.
I think I'll have to read it. And I do have a little bit of news for you.
Yes.
They are adapting that into a movie.
Oh, yeah. They did? Or they will?
They're going to.
It's not yet? It's not a movie yet?
Actually, I think it released yesterday.
We should go see it.
We should.
So you'll have to read the story. And maybe we can do a special episode.
Hold on, I want to make sure I'm right first. Because
yesterday?
I keep getting these ads on like Instagram, Facebook, or just any social media, and it's like Osgood Perkins. He actually made Long Legs. I told you about that before, but I'm pretty sure it's a drummer monkey instead of a cymbal monkey.
Well, we will have to research that.
I wonder why they changed it. The drummer is kind of strange. So yeah, it did release yesterday. We should see that.
I like it. Sounds like a special episode brewing. Well, it looks like we have digressed from the Queen Mary.
I don't think there's much else to talk about.
Right. So,
I guess stay tuned for our special episode on Tuesday or Wednesday. This is going to be a movie/book review of the monkey.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because we're gonna experience both, and then come together for our thoughts. Yeah. So stay tuned for
Special episode number 2.
Yes, on the 25th or the 26th. Thank you for joining us for our Queen Mary, the most haunted ship in the United States. You'll have to stay tuned for our special episode number 2, our The Monkey movie review and short story
Review.
Yes. I'm Erica.
And I'm Wyatt. Thanks for listening.
This is Tales Untold.